Hello, this is Paul here, and I am showing you the SkyFry. Why that name, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but anyhow, it's an idea for an aircraft to be 3D printed, and it's kind of neat. And right now I haven't quite finished the exterior mesh of the form because the tail needs to be welded onto the fuselage. So I just want to make it monocoque type form or something, or however you say that. And it's kind of neat because this is like the lowest budget way to model an aircraft I could think of, and that's using Blender instead of CAD. But even though it's not CAD, you can make a mesh and a polygonal mesh with a Captain Clark smoothing and what else? It'll export to STL and it can still be 3D printed. And basically, I have to develop all the internal structures manually. It's kind of going to be interesting because I use booleans and stuff and the automatic generation. And this is really more of an art than a science, but it's based on stuff known from looking at different aircraft. I figured that this thing will actually work to some extent. Yeah, I don't know exactly where the center of lift on the wing is or where the center of gravity is, but presume the battery will be in the front, the very nose section where my cruiser is, and I'm going to actually probably split the nose up and have a prop, but don't be too worried because I'll probably offer more than one section, so if you wanted to make a EDF version, you can be free to mod the rest of it, and I'll make another version with the solid nose. I'm probably going to split this up for a polar prop on it, and I don't know if I should put the ailerons right at the wingtips because I have an extreme twist on the on the wingtips. There's quite actually a downward twist, and that's supposed to be for stability. And this aircraft should be interesting because what you have is a swept forward and swept back on the center section of the wing, and then it goes to full swept back. And each segment of the wing is like a compound airfoil because this section where it attaches to the fuselage is a large chord airfoil, and then it goes with reducing chord on each section. Not only that, but the angle of attack changes over the surface of the wing. So this is actually a little bit more complicated than you think, and without much engineering stuff behind it. So it'd be interesting to see if I had access to computational stuff that science people or engineers use. But no, this is just the freestyle in it. I'm going off a different aircraft and looking at them and going, yeah, that might work, and throwing something together. So that's kind of all there is to it. But I suspect for something 3D printed that nobody's going to ride in, this is just fine. But all I got to do is section it apart. Probably going to have section here, section there, maybe a section there, order at the tip. And yeah, it's going to have to be sectioned for 3D printing because this thing's going to be bigger. I think the minimum size will be dictated by how much of a servo I can fit somewhere in the middle of this wing section here. So this is going to get scaled up. And then seeing how well the motor fits in the nose section. I chop it apart. That's the idea. And I don't know how I'll fit the radio receiver in there because I don't really have dimensions for that. That's the thing, and this is like a zero budget design. I don't have access to the stuff for the 3D printing, so it's going to be on somebody else to assume the risks in doing that, and they can be free to mod it because this will be Creative Commons attribution, so if you wanted to mod it, you'd be free to mod this aircraft. But I just thought I'd say a little bit on it, and that's it. This is going to be the SkyFry, at least the prototype. And the later version, I will think of probably having somebody come up with a better name if I don't myself. If it works, they'll probably get a better name. But As you can see, there's some complex stuff going on in the wing. But it should be aerodynamic. Everything looks the part. So there you go. So you can download this at Thingiverse, and I'll post a link in the comment, and I'll probably update this with some new versions, and I'll figure out how to split it up and put internal structures in it to support it. All that. It's gonna be crazy, but hey, it's gonna be cool. Alright, later.